I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery, here with writers Sarah Burgess from American crime story Impeachment, Drew Michael from his comedy special Red, Blue, Green, Kerry Ehrin from The Morning Show, John Hoffman from Only Murders in the Building, and Ashley Lyle from Yellowjackets. Now you're all nominated for Writers Guild Awards this year. What's the significance for you of not just being recognized by your fellow actors in the industry or fellow writers in the industry, but to be supported by this labor union in that sense? Ashley, how about you?
I mean, we were so over the moon by these nominations, just because I feel like other writers' opinions are the ones that end up sort of mattering the most, because your peers are the people who really understand how difficult this is, and to be recognized by other writers is just such an honor. And I mean, I love the Guild. You can look at my Twitter and there's a lot of tweets about how much I love being a part of this Guild and how much I support them and feel supported by them. And I think that, you know, even in the past couple of years, we've really proven how incredibly powerful a collective of writers can be in this industry. And I think that's really important. So it's just thrilling.
And how about you, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't even know really how this happened. Because like, I think I tried to vote for me, but couldn't figure out how. And so I don't know how enough people did to get me to this spot, but I am appreciative. I'm sort of of two minds about it. I mean, in the special, I have like a 6-minute kind of like complaint about the pageantry of award shows in general, and so there's this weird sort of pressure on me. Right? I'm not unappreciative. Of course, I'm appreciative of the fact that people took the time to watch it at all and respond well to it, and then take the time to, you know, make the choice to vote for it in this you know, for this award. And so like, obviously very appreciative of that. And, you know, I know that the people that I sort of represent, the people who are behind this, the people that work tirelessly on this, you know, like I'm one of 100 people, you know, the people at the network, they're all very excited about it, and they so this makes them very happy. And I am happy for everyone to be recognized, but I also, you know, I do think awards, you know, whatever, my thoughts on awards are documented, so I won't have to say them here. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, thank you, but also like, we don't need to do all this. But also thanks, and mostly thanks for the health insurance.
Yeah, that does sound like a very, very good aspect of it. How about you, Kerry?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it really it caught me by surprise, and it was really moving to me. I've been in this business a long time, and you know, I love writers. Like, writers, those are my happy places, you know. Like, a good raucous writers room is one of the greatest places on earth. And you know, I totally hear you about the awards thing. and I have to say, like, this, because it's writers, it's like, it's very meaningful. It's very, it really, it surprised me, and it melted my heart a little, to be totally corny. It did.
Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree about, like, you have to be so careful about not needing outside validation and listening to whatever crazy ideas you have in your own head. But of course, on that day, it meant everything to me. And I'm obsessed with the opinions. It is really true that you care the most about what other writers say about your work. If I hear like fifth hand what somebody said about one of my plays, I will think about it. I mean, I had a play done like 6.5 years ago. I'm thinking about a stray comment I heard somebody said that somebody else overheard. So this just meant the world to me. I was really surprised. And while, yes, part of my brain is like, you need to sort of shut out all external commentary. It just meant, I remember like where I was standing on Howard Street when I got a text from somebody congratulating, like the first text or whatever from someone saying that. And I was just so happy, which is like very rare for me. So it meant everything.
John?
Same. I feel the same about everything you said. I think it's a mixed bag with all of it, but it's very bracing when you hear that and you feel that. And I think it has to do all the ways with the respect. I was very happy because at the moment when I heard about it, I didn't know it was the day they were going to be announced and all of that. And I was actually in a production meeting, and I had some of my writers on the Zoom, in this massive Zoom and everything. But so it caught me completely off guard. And I've only had a few moments to get corny, but it only had a few moments like that where, you're on this train and everybody knows this thing we have to do, and you're focused on this thing. And then when something like that happens, it really does stop the room for me. And the big moment was running downstairs on the set. And I thought I was going to tell Steve Martin this lovely news. And before I could say anything, he had his hand up and he looked like I hadn't seen him. And he was like, "Hey!" And that melted my heart. It's all lovely relief, acknowledgement that you don't think to dwell in. So it's lovely. And I think also what you're saying about the guild and the collective nature of the power of the writers. Of course, I was feeling that in the opposite direction this morning because Marty Short, whose trailer I'm in right now, is going to make a guest appearance. And
Hello.
He hated me. He hated me this morning because of one line I wrote for him. And he was obsessed that he couldn't.
Well, it made no sense. It was like gibberish.
Where's the sandwich?
Sandwich is over there. The musical, what was it? No, don't say it. Musical.
No, don't spoil it.
Chinese.
Yeah, you made it say Chinese.
Yeah.
But, no.
It was bad. It was 4 words that made no sense. And that's when you hate a writer. Anyway, I'd love to see you.
Marty, thank you for the trailer visit. He's wrapped. He's all done. He got the line. He nailed it.
He kind of got it.
So what is it like getting notes from actors live on Zoom?
Heaven in this case, yeah.
Yeah, and
I did. I have it. Right, John.
TV, to a large part, for for most of you is a very collaborative process. But writing, often is like a solitary thing. It's one person, their thoughts in front of a computer or typewriter or piece of parchment, whatever time period you're in. So like, is there something about working in a team like that you prefer to working alone, or do you like solitary more than times you've worked with teams? John, how about you?
It's surprising. I wrote a long time as a screenwriter, and so I got very in the mode of writing alone. And so I became enamored with that and protective of that little cocoon and like thinking I could only write when I was like that. So I was actually late coming to work in television. It's probably the last 10 years that I've been working in television, and I was nervous to come into a writer's room because if I was doing anything with a slight comedic bent, I was terrified of a room of joke brilliant geniuses, and I was like, I'm not that guy. I'm a little different that way, and so I was intimidated by it. But I found my way in and grew to appreciate. Like, it's amazing when you're getting better and being made better by other brilliant minds, and also just the room itself, the experience. We've been a Zoom room since the beginning on this show. We all have mixed feelings about that, but it is also interesting because it's created this new level of connection that's very specific and intimate in a way, and focused. But otherwise, I found my own growing pains and things like that, and sort of finding my way towards writing with a bigger group, but also right on the other side of it, loving every minute of that.
Sarah?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, this is the only time I've ever done it. I'm a playwright. I've always just kind of a creepy person alone in a room. So I too had growing pains around this, but by the end of it, I was like hiding in my car at Fox, calling Flora Birnbaum, who's a brilliant, brilliant young writer we had in our room, because I was like struggling with this thing in episode 10. And like I had never collaborated with a writer like that, someone else who just had been on the whole thing with me and is so smart and would push back against me. And it really has changed how I think about writing at least some things, to let another writer into my very unfortunate mental space like that, and to rely on her and need to call this person who I'd never met before this, who I met when I read like her brilliant pilot and was like, well, I'd love to hire this person. So it's changed me in some ways and changed how I think about writing, certainly at least for certain types of TV. Absolutely.
Kerry?
I mean, it completely depends on the people. I've been in amazing rooms where it was really clicking. I've been in rooms where it was like a bad date. It really is like having being inspired by someone and clicking with them mentally is such a magical thing. And when it happens, it's amazing. And really, from a person who sort of suffers from chronic loneliness, not for any reason. I mean, there's people all over the place, just because I live inside of myself. But it is one of the most amazing experiences to emotionally and mentally connect with someone over a creative venture. It's high on my list. I highly recommend it.
And Drew, obviously stand-up is more of a solitary creative process, but you've also worked on SNL, where you were part of a writing team.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm just hearing people humble brag about the fact they have people around them. My process is like pacing around my apartment and screaming at myself, and hopefully some of that's usable. Like, no, I had well, also, and to Kerry, you said you live inside yourself. I think that's just implied by being here, right? Like, I don't know a lot of extroverted writer. Like, it's not like there's no life of the party writer. But I worked on SNL for one season. It was the 2016 election season, and I only lasted 1 year, so you can maybe ascertain how collaboration goes for me. But I had a few friends, producers on the project with me, where I was kind of checking in with them to just help shape it. But yeah, for the most part, stand-up is very solitary, for better or for worse. It's singular in that sense. You don't have like the clutter of potentially too many visions driving it. Obviously, there's a hierarchy with structured shows like that you're all working on, where someone is maybe more primarily responsible for that. But in this sense, it's like literally all that. But there's also the pushback is coming from the audience mostly, and then your own internal the past that you have lived that is tormenting you to this day. And so a lot of the times you're just kind of trying to balance like those elements just in your own head, which can get messy. And so I don't know if that even answers anything you asked me, but those are words that I did say.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashley?
I mean, I guess, inevitably, no matter what, there comes the moment where you're just sitting by yourself at your computer, staring at that fucking blank final draft document, which is just unequivocally the worst part of the job as far as I'm concerned. That is my least favorite part. And my favorite part is the collaboration. I mean, I think that maybe I'm in a unique position among this group that I've always been part of a writing team. My husband and I, from the very beginning of our career, started writing together, and we started writing together within like 3 weeks of dating. So it's been like 16 years now. And Yeah, I mean, the writer's room is also just my happy place. I think that I've been very lucky in my career of working in really great rooms that had really good dynamics. And on this show in particular, we had this great opportunity to work with a couple of really good friends of ours who we had known for years. And, you know, we all kind of came to LA together and then went off on diverging paths. And luckily, everybody's career really took off. And then to be able to come together to make this show, you know, and think back on when we actually had a little writers group when we were all trying to break into the industry together. It's myself and Bart, Liz Pong and Amini Roja. And now we're actually making a show together, which is just sort of unbelievable. And then, of course, you know, we brought in and found a number of writers who we're continuing to work with on season 2, who are sort of part of the family now and are also good friends. And it's just, that's to me the best part of this job. You know, we have a features agent who like calls twice a year and says, hey, do you want to write a screenplay? And we're like, nah, we're good. So yeah, I mean, I just love it.
Thank you all for joining me and talking about your work and how different it all is. And of course, congratulations and best of luck to all of you at the Writers Guild Awards. You know, it's always so nice to talk to such a wide range of creative people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Everybody.
No.